Hello everyone and welcome back. Happy New Year to everyone. I wish you happiness, health, love, and prosperity. And I want to say hello and welcome to my new subscribers, which I have a few of. I am so glad that you decided to come along and join us in our adventures. So today I am going to be showing you how to curve foam board. It can be done. It's a little bit of a fiddly project and it will take a little time. And I urge you above all, get a scrap piece and practice, practice, practice. So here we go. So what I have is a scrap piece of foam board. I have removed the paper from the one side. So the paper's on one side, I have just the foam up on the other side, and I have marked off at 1/4 and 1/8 inch intervals. I am using a box cutter, focus, and I prefer that. You can use a hobby knife or craft knife, but I prefer a box cutter for a project like this because you can extend the blade to make it longer, and your hands don't have to be, you know, like they would be on a craft knife. So that's just my personal preference. You can use whatever you'd like. I know this is probably a little hard to see because my camera does not like to focus on white, and so I will try to make it so that you can see it. Okay, so you need a good ruler. This is not a good ruler, but it's all I have at the moment. So you need a ruler, and what you're going to do is your first cut is going to be, let me get it right. Okay, first cut is going to go on the 1/4 inch marks. Okay, so I have a 1/4 inch here. Where's my, I marked mine out with a gel pen. So this is my 1/4 inch. Yeah, it went through the foam cord. Yeah, it's not going to work. Anyway, that part right there, that's where the 1/4 inch is. So I'm going to make my first cut on that. Sorry about that. This is also a project where if you don't stay focused, you could end up going, what did I just do? Okay, so I'm going to take the knife, box cutter, and I'm not going to hold it straight up and down and cut like we usually do. What we're going to do is we're going to hold it at an angle, and I'm guessing it's probably about a 45. I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing. And then we want to slice through. We want to put our knife right up against the ruler and start slicing. Now I suggest, especially when you start, you go slow and easy, because the idea is to cut on the angle through the foam down to the paper below. Now I'm going to flip it over, and this is where if you don't stay focused, you can get really screwed up really quick. Okay, so now I'm on the 1/8 inch marks, and I'm just going to do the same exact thing. I know my finger got in the way, but the edge piece is kind of tricky to cut. Okay, so now I've got this little wedge shape, and you can tell if you didn't cut deep enough because it doesn't want to separate. I did not cut deep enough on the one end. So we'll just stick the knife back in and recut. If you can do this in, I usually find it takes about 2 swipes. See, your piece will just pop right out if you've got your cut right. So then I'm going to turn it back over so that my 1/4 inch is ahead of my ruler, my 1/4 inch marks, and the 1/4 inch of foam core is ahead of the ruler, and I'm going to do the same thing. And as you do this, you will start to get a feel for when you are at the paper layer. That's the best I can tell you. You'll get it. And then I'm going to flip I flipped my poster board around, and now I'm up against the 1/8 inch marks, and I'm going to do the same thing. And yes, sometimes you get squeakies. And then I'm just going to pop it up. And okay, this is what happens if you don't cut far enough through. Your piece doesn't want to come out. So I did not cut far enough through on that top cut up at the top here. So I'm going to go through. I'm just going to gently cut that again. If you cut through your paper, most of the time you'll probably find that and I'm way bigger at the top than I was at the bottom. So it's going to still curve, but it's not going to give me a good curve. So please make sure you get your cuts as straight and even as possible. And also keep in mind that not all foam core is created equal. Now this is the cheap stuff from the Dollar Tree. Okay? And I found that it has hard spots. I found that it has, all different types of things. Another good reason to practice, because some of it likes to cut better than other parts of it. But this is all I had, so this is what I'm using. And again, see, your little piece just frees itself. If you end up with foam core down in your channels, as long as it's just a little tiny thin bit, it's not such a big deal. But if you have a lump of foam core in there, you're going to find that your curve is not happening, because you're going to have resistance from that foam core that's left in there. So that's another indication whether you've cut right or not. So again, I'm going up against the 1/4 inch marks. And by that, I mean the marks at the end of my 1/4 inch measurement. I'm hoping this is making sense to everyone. And then when I turn it over, it's the cuts that mark the 1/8 inch measurement. And there, see, my piece just popped right out, just like that. So yeah, I'm going to make one more cut with you. Line it up. Get the knife in there at a slant. And then I'm going to turn it and do the same on my 1/8 inch marks. Just like so. And there again, my piece popped right out. That one looks a little thin, so we'll see if it affects the curve. And it could, but I think it would be okay. But see, there you go. It's curving. See, I have cuts in between, and they are angled cuts. They may not look like it, but they are. And that allows the part of the foam core that has the wider, that has the gaps in between, will help the foam core to curl, so that you can do rounded foam core. Now, if you look at it, it looks, I don't know if you can tell, but it looks a bit bumpy, just like, where the cuts are. But once you stick on your paper or whatever you're using on the outside, it pretty much rounds right out. You may have a little of it showing, but it's pretty rounded. You can feel it. I can feel it. Yeah, that's all it is. Just some cuts in the foam core. I'm going to show you something I learned earlier. This one, I used the knife and I cut straight into the foam core. Just straight into it. And the pieces popped out. You could just take your finger and just slide them right out. However, this also happened. So I would advise against cutting straight into your foam core. I would do the angle cuts. This is just something that happened, at least with this piece of foam core. See, they're all just, most of them are just popping straight out. That one would have. And then, yeah, I have some nice 1/4 inch pieces of foam core here now, but that wasn't what I was going for. Yes, it'll curve. It'll curve nicely. I put some cardstock on the back of it. It'll curve nicely, but you also risk having to re-glue your foam core. So I don't recommend that. I do recommend the angle cuts because it'll give you a nice rounded surface. Nice. See? All right, well, that's going to be it for the video today. Again, thank you everyone for joining me. Again, I hope you all have a wonderful new year, and I will see you again next week, and we'll go from there. Bye-bye.